Hello students, so I welcome you all to the lecture series of physics. As you know, we have started our chapter number 2, that is units and measurement. In this chapter, we have till now discussed about the errors in the measurements. Now it's the time to discuss a very fresh topic of significant figures and rounding off of numbers up to a desired number of significant figures. And also we are going to discuss about the dimensional analysis of different physical quantities we have learned so far. So let's pick our first topic of significant digits and see how significant it is to this chapter. Now, the significant figures. The significant figures of a number are digits that carry meaning contributing to its measurement. See what happens whenever you are making a measurement, it is a number that contributes meaning to its value. So the number of digits which are actually contributing a meaning to the measurement are called significant digits. So what happens basically, any physical measurement contains one or more certain digits and one uncertain digit, the last significant digit. I am assuming that you are a very disciplined experimentalist. So whenever you are making a measurement or you are taking observation for certain physical quantity, I am considering that you are taking all the values to be very accurate, but the last digit that you are giving or noting it down as a measurement would be uncertain. So the total number of digits that you have certain and the last uncertain digits combined together, that number is called the number of significant digits of a measurement. So all these certain digits and one uncertain digit are called as significant digits or significant figure in a measured value. I hope the basic idea of significant figure is very clear to you. So let's see some rules regarding the significant figures and how to calculate and how to count the total number of significant figures in a measurement. Now, the rule number 1 says a choice of change in different unit does not change the number of significant digits or figures in a measurement. See, it should not happen that if you are choosing a different unit system and I am choosing a different unit system, the number of significant digits, that means the number of digits which are contributing meaning to the measurement, they are going to change. For example, let's suppose I have a measurement of a length that is 4.206 centimeter. Let's suppose if I write it in meter, what is going to happen? 0.04206 meter, and in the form of millimeter it is 42.06 millimeter. Now, in all the three different unit system, the number of significant digits in this particular measurement is actually 4. So this is the main essence of the significant digit study, that it does not change by the change of system of units. But how to calculate the number of significant digits in a given number? There are certain rules to define. So let's see them one by one. Now, the first rule says all non-zero digits are significant. This is a very important rule. Example says 2.483 contains 4 significant figures. Now the most important part is, no matter the number has a decimal place or not, if it is containing only non-zero digits, all the digits are to be considered as significant. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this number contains 4 significant figures. Let's jump to the rule number 2. It says all zeros appearing between two non-zero digits are significant. So on the basis of this, all the zeros which are appearing between two non-zero numbers will become significant. I hope the rule is clear to you. So the rule number 3 says the trailing zeros in a number without a decimal point are insignificant. So for example, let's suppose I have a number which says 2304000. Now, in this number, these 3 zeros are actually called trailing zeros. So these trailing zeros will become insignificant and only these 4 digits will become significant. That's why there are 4 significant figures in this particular measurement. Now, if I talk about the rule number 4, the trailing zeros in a number having a decimal point are becoming significant. See, in this case, there was no decimal point, so that's why the trailing zeros were insignificant. But now, if the number has a decimal place, what is going to happen? Then all the trailing zeros will now become significant. For example, the number 308.60 000 has 6 significant digits starting from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because this is the decimal point that we have. So whenever a number has a decimal point, all the zeros which are trailing in that number will become significant. That's why this number has 6 significant figures. I hope this rule is also very clear to you. Now let's jump to rule number 5. If a number is less than 1, so tell me, what happens to a number with less than 1? Obviously it is going to start with 0 point something. So if a number is less than 1, the zeros on the left of the first non-zero digit are not significant. So you can have some numbers like 0.123, you have number like 0.0123, and you can have numbers like 0.002783. So all the zeros after decimal which are lying on the left side of the first non-zero number. So this is the first non-zero number in all these numbers. So the zeros lying on the left of this first non-zero numbers, like these zeros, this zero, so they will become insignificant. So that's why in this number 0.002783, I do have only 2783. Only these 4 are the significant figures. I hope the idea is very clear to you. Now in the exponential notation, I hope you know how to write down a number in exponent notation. The numerical portion gives me the number of significant figures. Let's suppose I have a number which says 1.43 into 10 to the power minus 4. Now this is the power factor, so it will not contribute to the significant figures, but this numerical portion 1.43 will give me 3 significant figures for this particular measurement. I hope this is also very clear to you. Now what will happen if I have different kind of numbers? So the exact number appearing in the mathematical formula of various physical quantities have infinite number of significant figures. Now for example, let's suppose I write down the surface area of a sphere. So surface area of a sphere has a formula which says 4 pi r square. Now tell me, what about this 4? This number 4 can be written as 4.0, written as 4.00, or it can be written as 4.000. So in this case, this has a significant figure as 1, this has 2, this has 3, and this has 4. So you might be wondering how we are going to decide that these kind of numbers have how many significant figures. Actually, the numbers which are used in mathematical formulas, they are complete pure numbers, and they have infinite numbers of significant figures because I can write them in these particular formats. I hope the idea is very clear to you. So whenever a formula based numbers are given to you, it will have infinite number of significant figures. Otherwise the question needs to specify how many decimal points are present in that particular measurement. I hope all the rules regarding the significant figures are very clear to you. Now, whenever we are doing the mathematics regarding different numbers, we are actually adding the numbers, we are subtracting the numbers, multiplying, dividing, and doing much more mathematical operations. But how to deal with them while we are dealing with significant figures? Let's suppose I am giving you an example. I am making a chain. Okay, so chain will consist of different kind of iron links. Let's suppose I have one link to be very weak. So tell me, the total strength of that link is going to depend upon the weakness of the weakest link. I hope you got my point. So that depends on the measurement also. While you are doing the mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, division and multiplication, the weakest number, that is having a weakest accuracy, or I should be saying the number which you are using in a mathematical operation which has a less precision, is going to contribute or take the hold of the precision of the answer as well. And this is being explained by 2 different rules for addition, subtraction combined and production and division combined. So let's see that. Rule number 1 says, that is a rule for arithmetic operations with significant figures. It says, when 2 physical quantities are added or subtracted, there should be as many decimal places retained in the final result as are there in the number with the least decimal places. So whenever you are actually adding or subtracting 2 different numbers, the number of decimal places in which the answer should be written, the number of decimal places should be the least of the numbers which are being added or subtracted in that particular question. So let's try to understand that with a simple example. Let's suppose I have to add 3 masses, 0.307 gram, 0.52 gram and 0.4 gram. Now the arithmetic addition comes out to be 0.307 plus 0.52 plus 0.4 and it will come out to be 1.227 gram. Now I have done the addition without thinking about the significant figures. But tell me, when you are adding 3 numbers, in the first number you are precise up to 3rd decimal place. In the second number you are precise up to 2 decimal places. And in the third number you are precise up to 1 decimal place. But tell me, how can be you so certain about the answer up to 3rd decimal place? Since you are adding the numbers based on the significant figures, so in addition what you need to do, you need to identify how many decimal places are there. In this number I have 3 decimal places, in this number I have 2 and in this number I have 1. So the answer should be reported up to only 1 decimal place. And how to do that? 1.227. I need to drop this number. I need to drop this number in order to get the answer to be approximately 1.2 gram. So that's how the answer should be written while you are doing the operations of addition and subtraction. I hope the idea is very clear to you. Now, what will happen if I am doing operation of product and division? So in the next rule, what do we have? When 2 measured values are multiplied or divided, there should be as many significant figures retained in the final result as there are in the original number with the least significant figures. So in the case of addition or subtraction, we only see the least number of decimal places. But in case of product and division, we only see the number of significant figures. So let's try to understand this with a very simple example. It says if an object covers a distance of 4.11 meter in the time duration 1.2 second, its speed obtained by a simple division comes out to be. Now, if we take a closer look, distance is being taken in 3 significant figures and time is measured in 2 significant figures. And if I want to find out the speed, speed should come out to be distance upon time. So speed is distance upon time, that is 4.11 divided by 1.2. The answer will come out to be 3.425. But you know that the numerator has 3 significant digits and the denominator has actually 2 significant figures. So how can this answer be in 4 significant figures? So this answer should be rounded off such that it should contain as much significant figure as contained by the least number of significant figures in the original numbers involved. So the answer should be reported as 2 significant figures. So this answer must be 3.4 meter per second. And I hope the method and the idea must be very clear to you. So that's how the arithmetic operations are done with the rules regarding the significant figure and its mathematical operations. And I hope the idea regarding the significant figures must be very clear to you. So whenever you are doing actually the measurement, you must take care about the significant figures. So that's all in the segment. In the next segment, we are going to study about the rounding off of different numbers along with multiple examples and then the introduction of the topic dimensional analysis.